Hey Pisces, welcome back to the Guiding Chariot. Welcome to your love reading. Super excited to get this going. So let's jump into it. Alright Pisces, house rules still apply. This is going to be a general love reading for all Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Cross watchers are also welcome. My only ask is that you take these messages as they resonate. Do not try to force anything. If a message comes through, doesn't fit your circumstance, doesn't sit well with you, just means that message wasn't meant for you. Leave it on the table and take the rest. Alright, my lovelies. We're going to pull some oracle cards and then go deeper with the tarot. I have been in a real crystal vibe recently, so I pulled all of my favorite, or some of my favorite crystal oracles. So you'll notice a theme. Also, shout out to my friend at Saniteu Golden Ray on Instagram, who makes these amazing light code transmission mandalas. This is her open heart mandala. I thought it'd be perfect since we're doing love readings this week. So again, feel free to check her out on Instagram. You can, someone decided to jump out. We will take that. But feel free to focus on it as we go through the reading. We just have one more card to get and we are good. Alright, let's get into it, Pisces. Alright, look at you. Okay, so first card out, it's super windy over here tonight, you guys, so if you hear a bunch of banging in the background, it's probably just the wind from outside. So you guys have Tiger's Eye. Look at that. Great stone of abundance. Side note, since we are using all these crystal oracles, if you have these crystals at home, might be a good thing to work with as we go through the next month, right? Then we have, look at that, amethyst here bringing transformation, which honestly, seeing this card made me super happy because I feel like your love readings, you know, maybe even the past couple love readings have been a little heavy. Your relationships have really been hard. So I'm actually happy to see transformation because I think it's about time. And then you guys have Septarian as your last oracle card. Great. It's actually a really, really great stone. And it is one of strength. It's the same thing I think of when I think of Tiger's Eye. Because Tiger's Eye, yes, is a great stone for abundance, but it's also an amazing stone for, how do I want to describe this? I was going to say foundations, but I think that's because I'm looking at this pyramid shape. But because it helps to, not only does it pull in abundance, but it also helps to store it so it stays. It doesn't just kind of come in and go. So again, it's building something that's a little more lasting, a little more, I mean, you could almost bring up the word commitment if that's something we're looking for. You know, but it's a stone of strength and willpower. It definitely does help, help you to be a little more optimistic and expect more as we manifest things. So I think great energy to have, especially having this transformation. There's a whole new, I almost want to say like reboot for relationships, whether this is working on an existing relationship where that's evolving and taking on a new form, or I do feel like for some of you, this is about calling in a new love. And I feel like for those people, you might even be in a relationship now, but it just might be too hard, or maybe something has changed. It's a wonky feeling. But again, like literally seeing this card, I thought of your previous couple readings, and there always was a point of tension. There was something that needed to grow or change, or someone needed to give and compromise, like something needed to give. And I almost feel like your readings kept kind of telling this story where the needed change wasn't happening, like that tension still existed, or like it'd be resolved but not fixed. So some time would go by and then something would trigger it and would come back. Literally, I see this transformation card as bringing like a complete fresh new take on everything. Some massive plane or something going over. We had lots of, as I've been filming today, I don't think I've had a single reading as noisy as yours, Pisces. This is crazy. Okay, I think it's mostly gone. It's still there, but no? What do we... Come on. I may cut that all out. That was wild. Alright, Pisces. So, minus that loud interruption, together, these three cards really speak to not only transformation, but I feel like you building much more solid ground. You also, the term willpower comes through a lot when I look at Tiger's Eye, and I don't necessarily, I don't know how I feel about using that. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, because it sounds like you're like bossing your partner around or forcing them to do something. I don't think that's the case at all. When willpower comes up, it's more of, you're exercising your will. Like, you're really going after the relationship you want, the feeling you want, the security you want. Fill in that adjective. And right now your will is so strong. If that means that you have to go elsewhere for it, that means you go elsewhere for it. If that means, this either happens, or this is going to be different. I feel like that's where the will comes in. Like, really, you are coming from a really strong, empowered place. Because even with Septarian, like this particular stone, I'm trying to look at the keywords, because white on orange, not the greatest thing, not the easiest thing to see. But if you see the keywords here on the back of the card, it's direction, fearless, and I think it was communication, and communication, right? So with all of that, honestly, like, I'm just gonna stick with that. Like, it really is. It's almost like how do I want to describe this? It's almost kind of like your mind and your heart are meeting. So now what you've been feeling, you're now going to make happen, or you're going to follow through. You're going to do it. The action's going to line up. Not that it was in misalignment, but it, like, literally, your will is so potent right now. And I think, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but if you look there's like a white grid drawn in underneath the crystal grid, and it's in the shape of a Merkaba, which is divine union. It's like the male and female aspects being, brought together and united. And I don't necessarily think that's about your relationship, but I think that's about you. Like, that's you kind of being whole in yourself. I feel like there's going to be a lot more empowerment for you in these relationships. Not that you were in one that, devalued you, but I think you feel so much more grounded in this relationship. Either this is, an evolution of your current relationship, or honestly, I feel like for some of you, this is you kind of setting up the foundation for a new relationship. Taking lessons from what you've learned from this current relationship or your recently past relationship, and really utilizing that to build something much more suited for you. All right, Pisces, let's start. There it is. Yep. Bottom of the deck, King of Cups. So again, protecting those emotions, feeling grounded in your emotional security there. So if that has been lacking in your relationship, expect a whole new way to be. Yeah, look at that. Five of Pentacles, first card out. Pisces, I think I'm going to pull your whole spread. The other readings I kind of did row by row, but for some reason I want to do the whole thing for you guys. You can see it all at once. We're still going to take it card by card, but let's take this first row. So, like I said, Five of Pentacles. So feeling, this is, feeling like you've had to do it all on your own, feeling like you've had no support, feeling that you can't get ahead, right? You're constantly kind of swimming upstream almost, right? No one's there. There's no life raft. There's no support. Not fun. Very, very not fun. I feel like even the progression here, because you have, right, I'll put them together. So you have the Queen of Wands followed by the Knight of Wands. So I feel like you almost, again, it feels like you almost were like you had to step back, or you fell back. Like, if you had a timetable for where your life is, what you planned on doing, even if this included your partner, so where you thought this relationship would be by now, it's kind of almost like you walked in, feeling this Queen of Wands vibe. You were super, confident in it. You were manifesting like a mofo, like you were attracting everything you needed. But because of how this played out, because of what you went through in this relationship, it's like you went from queen down to knight, right? And of course that doesn't happen, right? We never lose that power unless we give it away. But it's almost like we slowed down to not compromise with this relationship, because I don't think this was a conscious decision. You weren't like, oh, just to make this go smoother, make this happier, I will totally change my plans. Like, I feel like you kept making choices, together, or, in consideration of, and they were the best choices you could make, right? But it was just a natural progression of this relationship that eventually slowed down your momentum. And I know that sounds like such a negative thing, and it's a life thing. Like, I don't want to make that sound like a bad thing, or like you've been set back, but it's just a life thing. And I definitely believe there's no such thing as coincidences. So even when things like this happen, there also is a reason, right? Whether it's divine timing, whether it's a life challenge and there's a lesson to be learned in it, there's always something to be gained from all these moments, even the wonky ones. So it's purely just a life thing. And, continuing on, then we have the Ten of Wands, so carrying the burden. So I want to say it probably felt that you had to it felt like you shouldered a lot of this in either this current relationship or this recent relationship that ended. But again, this is why you were slowed down. Look how much you had to carry. Like, whether this was you had a whole bunch of personal responsibilities, plus trying to, be involved in this relationship. Some of these wands probably belonged to your partner, and you were trying to carry things for them, trying to move things along for them, in effort to support you both, but that it did mean you were picking up some slack that, the other person either should have or couldn't do themselves, right? I don't want to make assumptions on this other person, but it looks like you carried a lot, or are carrying a lot, and it's wearing you down. It really is wearing you down. So in the center of your reading, here's the King of Swords. So I will say not always the most comfortable of energies, especially for a water sign. As a Cancer myself, this is not always the easiest energy for me to utilize, especially to its greatest advantage, because this energy is really detached from emotions. Like, even your bottom of the deck, here you are with the King of Cups, so fully empowered as your emotional center, trying to keep things stable. And then you have this really emotionally detached energy, trying to analyze and rationalize everything that's going on around you. Like, this is kind of where your headspace is at the moment. And I will say that's probably not a bad thing, considering all the wands you have. And we have the Nine of Swords down here. Considering all of that, it probably is a little bit better to be a little emotionally detached, because if we stay in there too long, that can really mess us up. And when I say us, I mean water signs. Like, if we're not feeling good and we stay in that vibe too long, that's where things start getting a little hairy. So I think the reason this King of Swords is in the middle is because that's a really smart thing to do for you. Plus, it also sets you up as the observer, right? So to remove yourself from the situation and truly and objectively take stock of what's happening around, that's going to aid in this transformation, because then you really get to see things. Then you're getting real facts, not tinted by emotional attachments or moods even. It's a real thing for water signs. So I'm not pointing fingers. If I were, I'd be pointing fingers right back at myself, because I would do this. I definitely have done the exact same thing. So with that's kind of where this energy is coming from, and that's why it's in the center. Now make sure you don't go so cold that you just start stabbing people for no reason. There is a level of discernment that comes with that power. But again, it's about being really analytical about things, but also being very logical. Like, be smart about the decisions you're making right now as we go through this transformation, right? This is really about communicating your needs, exercising your will, being really smart and clear on what it is that you want to achieve, what you want to do, what you want to feel in these relationships. All right? Whether it's fixing the current one or as we welcome in a new one. So, take that as it resonates. Then we have the Nine of Wands, which, you know, is our battle and bruised warrior, which is definitely kind of the story that's been told in these first few cards. But I think here is where it shifts a little bit. Where, yes, you know, we may be a little bruised and a little tired of having to hold up these wands and defend this wall. But here, the thing that comes through the strongest to me is commitment and dedication, right? You know, you're standing here because this is what's important to you. And this is coming after this King of Swords, because this is where you really sort things out. This is what I want. This is what I need. I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. I'm not going to just, you know, okay, I'm not really happy about this, but we're just going to let it slide. We're going to let it go, you know, because I love you and you're my baby, and I want this to be smooth, and I want us to be happy, or, you know, whatever the reason is. I'm just making that up. But this is you really going through that planning phase and then really sticking to it, you know, and that's gonna come with a lot of talk, you know, depending on your partner, you know, because I'll be like, you know what, these are the new rules. Like, these are the new rules. I can't tolerate that anymore. Like, this is how it's gonna go out, and if it can't, then something's gonna change. I'm either gonna walk, or we're gonna fix this. So, and that decision will be completely up to you, right? Some of you, I think this does mean walking away. Some of you are going to, you know, fix this and stay and be dedicated. So take that as it resonates, right? So I'm not telling you to do one or the other, but you have to do what's right for you. And that's the whole point, right? When I talk about exercising your will, this is really about doing what is best for you, Pisces. You do have this nine. Sorry, I'm looking at the Nine of Swords down here. You do have this Ace of Pentacles, which is amazing, right? All the aces bring new. This could be around money, but I think this is more about security and stability, right? So we are still kind of talking resources in a way, but feeling more grounded also. So this could, you know, still be connected to emotional security. This is that new phase coming in. This is that transformation. And again, whether this is new love and a new relationship, a new life, or, you know, fixing and repairing the current relationship, again, it will be different for all of you. I do feel, Pisces, for a lot of you, whether you're in a relationship that needs to improve or needs to change, or you're single, this is new love, I think, for a majority of you drawn to this reading in complete honesty. And I say that because this column of the, you know, trying to sort it out, make it work, is creating a lot of anxiety. We got a lot of worries, we got a lot of doubts, we got a lot of fears surrounding this relationship, whether it's current or this recent one. And then we also have the Page of Swords, which to me is my rebel, right? This is my creative thinker. This is, you know, this energy is very Uranian, you know, breaks status quo, does things differently, you know, will not do things the way they've been done just because that's the way they've been done, right? So this with the Ace of Pentacles does make me think that a lot of you are going to be finding a new relationship, or at least going after something in a completely different way, which I think eventually will lead to having a new partner. So not a bad thing, just growing. It's just life stuff. Just life stuff, Pisces. Before we wrap, I want to go through the bottom of the deck. So we already talked about this King of Cups. Yeah, so we've got the Seven of Wands, so independent, so we might be going on our own for a little bit. But again, this is also that willpower we talked about with the Tiger's Eye. This is you serving your needs. No matter what these other opinions are, no matter what people are saying, no matter what your partner thinks, it's like, nope, I got to do this for me. This is my life, and I can't do this anymore. I have to serve me, which you always should, right? Then we have the Six of Pentacles. So this is a card of giving and receiving and being in flow, right? So willing to, you know, let things go, but also giving support, gratitude, and then opening ourselves to also receive, right? It's a two-way energy flow. So to me, this is about going with the flow. Considering this is coming under this King of Cups, I think that's really going to be you leaning on your emotions and trusting what your soul and what your feelings are telling you, right? Whether it's good or bad. Right? Then we have the Eight of Swords followed by the Eight of Cups. So feeling bound, trapped, stuck, and then moving away. And, you know, I will say there have been a couple readings, not a lot, but a couple readings this round that had the Eight of Cups. And, you know, we talk about this card as, you know, soul searching or going on a spiritual journey, leaving things behind that do not serve you, which it is. But the kind of magic in this card is that it's scary because you don't know what lies beyond these mountains. You don't know what lies beyond these hills. But, the figure in this card knows that where they are is barren. Like, there's nothing to be gained here, right? So I don't necessarily know what's beyond there, but I know it's better than what's here. That, I think, is a realization that's coming to a lot of you, right? That there's, not that it's necessarily bad, but, it's not growing, right? I want this. I want to experience this in my relationships, and I'm not going to get that here. That's why I feel stuck with this Eight of Swords. So I'm not trying to say this is a bad relationship. I'm not trying to say your partner is good, bad, or whatever. It's just that you desire more. You desire more. And that's not a bad thing. But you have to start being realistic. Am I going to get that from this current relationship? Or, the choices I'm making, is that going to serve me in the long run? Right? For my singles out there. Then we have this Justice card. This, I think, is more specific to those of you who are in a relationship that needs to change. Because to me, this card holds a lot of karmic debt in there, right? Because it is a karmic cycle. So some of you may be with a karmic partner, a twin flame. So there might be lessons to be learned there. Oh, yep. I'm gonna finish with these three. But then we have the Magician, followed by the Ten of Cups and the Two of Cups. This, again, is you exercising your will. This is what you deserve. This is what you're creating. So be very honest with yourself. Is your current relationship in alignment with this soulmate connection and this happily ever after, right? You're in this Magician moment where you can make that happen. This is what you're creating. So be very clear with yourself. This isn't about necessarily telling the other person. This is about being clear with yourself. Is what I'm looking for coming to me from where I am? If it is, great, let's stay here, let's make this happen. What needs to change? If it's not, I gotta go find a new place to play. Right? Alright, Pisces, I'm going to wrap my reading there for you guys. As always, I'm sending you love and gratitude. Thank you for all the love and support you give to me and my channel. Sorry, I had a mental blank. I was looking at these cards and I full on had a blank. But thank you. As always, I'd highly appreciate it if you could smash that like button down below. Leave a comment. Let me know how the reading resonated. That's super important to me. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when your next reading comes up. Until next time, stay safe. Take care of yourself. I love you. And I'll see you in your next reading. Bye, Pisces.